Good morning, student. Hello, how are you? First of all, I want to tell you that I miss you so much and I wish you have a good day, a good health, and a good situation. And also, I want to remind you to put on your mask, okay? Don't forget to put on your mask, okay, student? So, let's start our lesson, okay? So, today we are going to talk about going to, okay? Today we are going to talk about going to, okay? So, we use going to when we talk about future plans, okay? We use going to when we talk about what? About future, okay? We use going to when we talk about future. نستخدم ال going to للحديث عن أشياء سنفعلها في المستقبل أو بعد قليل. Okay? So we use going to talk about future. Okay? To talk about what? To talk about future. We use going to talk about the past, the present, or the future. We use going to talk about the future. Okay, student? Okay, student? To talk about what? To talk about future. Okay, student? So, in English, we have three kinds of sentences: the positive one, the affirmative, the negative one, and question. Okay? We have three sentences: the positive, the affirmative, okay, the infinitive form of the sentence. What does positive or affirmative mean? الجملة اللي ما بتحتوي لا على نفي ولا على سؤال. Okay, جملة مثبتة. Okay, the negative one الجملة المنفية that have not. Okay, and the question صيغة السؤال. Okay, so let's start using going to in the positive sentence. Okay, how to use going to in the positive sentence? We start the sentence with the subject. Okay, we start the sentence with the subject. What does subject mean? الفاعل, right? So we write the subject. We use verb to be. We use is or are or am. Okay, then we use going to, verb infinitive, and complement. Okay, so when to use is or are or am, نستخدم إما is أو are أو am. If the subject is she, he, it, or singular noun, we use what? We use is. If the subject she, he, it, or singular noun, we use is. Okay, we use what? Is. Singular noun means اسم مفرد, like what? Like Ellie, like table, like chair, like Ahmed. Okay, so if the subject she, he, it, or singular noun, we use is. Okay, if the subject they, okay, look, we, you, or plural noun, we use what? We use are. Okay, we use are. Okay, so they, if the subject they, we, you, or a plural noun. What does plural noun mean? Plural noun means اسم جمع, like students. Okay, الطلاب, tables, chairs, okay, doors. Okay, those are what? Those are plural noun. Okay, if the subject they, we, you, or a plural noun, you have to use are. Okay, student? So the last one, when to use am. If the subject is I, you have to use am. Okay? Then going to verb infinitive. What does verb infinitive mean? Verb infinitive means فعل مجرد خالي من أي زيادة. Okay? Then the complement. Okay? So let us have examples. I am going to make a party next week. I am going to make a party next week. Where's the subject? I is the subject, right? We use with I. Look. We use what? We use what? Sorry. We use right? Because the subject is I. I am going to. Look, we use going to make verb infinitive a party next week complement. I am going to make a party next week. Okay, next week دلالة على المستقبل. Okay, في الأسبوع المقبل about future. Okay, student. So we use the subject is I. We use I am going to verb infinitive and complement. Okay, student? So the next example. Sorry. So the next example. He is going to spend the holiday in London. Here we use with he what? Is. Look. He is here. He is. Can you see? Look. He is going to spend verb infinitive. The holiday in London is the complement. He is going to what? To spend. We don't add anything to the verb. Look, here we have make and here we have spend. Okay, spend يمضي. Okay, أو يقضي. Okay, the holiday in London. يقضي العطلة في London. Okay, spend. Okay, infinitive. We don't add s, we don't add ing, we don't add anything. Spend. Look, infinitive. Okay, so he is going to spend the holiday in London. We use is because the subject is he and going to and verb infinitive. They are going to go to the museum. Look, they are going to go. Look, we use what? We use are. Okay, why? Because the subject is they. Look here to the red. They, we use, if the subject is they, we use what? Are. So they are going to go. Look here, the verb is infinitive. Right? We use verb infinitive فعل مجرد. ما حكينا goes or going or went. Okay, we use verb infinitive فعل مجرد. So they are, we use are because the subject is they. Going to go, verb infinitive, to the museum, complement. Okay, student? The last one, Tamer is going to drink some coffee. Tamer is going to. Tamer is singular noun. اسم مفرد. Tamer. شخص واحد, right? And if the subject is singular noun, we use is, right? We use what? We use is, right? If the subject is singular noun, we use what? We use is. Look, Tamer, singular noun. We use what? We use is. Okay, going to drink, verb infinitive. Drink, verb infinitive. Okay, we don't add s, we don't say drinks or drinking or drank or drunk. We use verb infinitive. Verb what? Verb infinitive. فعل مجرد بدون أي زيادة. Okay, student? So again, we use the subject. The subject is or are or am, going to verb infinitive and complement تكملة الجملة. We use is if the subject he, she, he, it or singular noun. We use are if the subject they, we, you and plural noun. We use am if the subject I, right? Okay, student? So, in the negative sentence إذا بدنا الجملة منفية. Okay, we add not. نستخدم نفس الجملة هاي بس منضيف لها what not. Okay, منضيف لها إيش؟ منضيف لها not. Okay, student? So, look to the sentence. Subject is or are or am plus not, going to verb infinitive and complement. Can you see? Just we add what? We add not. Okay, student? We add what? We add not. Okay? We add not. Okay? The same thing as here. The same sentence, but we add not. Okay? So, let us have examples. I am not going to make a party next week. Okay? I am not going to make a party next week. So, I am, sorry for that, بائع متجولين. ما نهتم، خلينا نركز بالدرس. Okay, student? So, I am not going to make a party next week. Look, we add not. Okay? صارت الجملة منفية. I am not going to make a party next week. I am not going to make a party next week. The subject is I. We add what? Am. Look, the same thing. We add am because the subject is what? The subject is I. We add not. We add not after after is or are or am. Am not, are not, is not. Okay? Okay, student? So I'm not going to make a party next week. Okay, the next example. He is not going to spend the holiday in London. Okay? Look, he, and with he you have to use what? You have to use is. Okay? He is not going to spend. Okay? The same thing, the same sentence, but we add not. Okay? After is or are or am you have to use not. Okay? To make the sentence negative. Okay, student? He is not or he isn't. Okay? And the last example, they aren't going to go to the museum. Look, just we add what? We add not. Okay? They aren't going. Okay? Just we add not. Okay? We add what? We add not. They aren't going to. We use, can you see here? We use what? We use verb infinitive. Go, spend, make. Okay, verb what? Verb infinitive. Okay, فاعل مجرد. Okay, but here we have am, is, and are. Okay, so the subject is I, we use am. The subject is he, we use is. The subject is they, we use are. And to make it negative, we add not. Not, not. Okay, can you see that? Okay, let's move to the last thing, the question. To make a question. Okay, to make what? To make a question. We use is or are or am in the beginning of the question. We don't use the subject. Look, here is the subject. After is or are or am. Okay, and going to verb, complement, and the question. mark. Okay, and what? And the question mark. Don't forget the question mark. It is very important. So we use what? Again, is or are or am. You have to choose one. And the subject. If the subject, we look here. If the subject, she, he, it, or singular noun, you have to use what? You have to use is. If the subject is, look, if the subject is they, we, you, or a plural noun, you have to use what? You have to use are. If the subject is I, you have to use am, okay? Going to verb infinitive complement and the question mark. So, the difference here, just change the subject and verb to be, okay? الاختلاف البسيط هون إن منغيرهم، بدل ما يكون السبجكت بالبداية بتصير is or are or am بالبداية وبعديهم السبجكت ومنضيف question mark حتى نميز إنها سؤال عن الجملة. okay. So examples. I am going to make a party next week. Sorry, am I going to make a party next week? So, look here. Am I? Okay, am I? We use what? Am in the beginning of the sentence, of the question. Okay, am. We use what? Am I, the subject, going to make a party next week? The answer should be yes or no. Yes, I am, or no, I'm not. Okay, so we use what? We use am. Look here. We use what? We use am. Can you see? We use what? Am. Okay, in the beginning of the question, we use what? We use am. Am I going to make a party next week? The subject is I, that's why we use am, right? So the next one, is he going to spend the holiday in London? Is he going to spend the holiday in London? We use what? We use is he. The question, we start with the what? Is or are or am. Here we use is. Why do we use is? Because we have he. And with he, you have to use what? You have to use is. Is he going to spend? Is he? Yes, he is, or no, he isn't, right? So, number 3, are they going to go to the museum? Are they? We use are, okay? Why do we use are? Because the subject is they, and with they you have to use are. Are they? Look, are they? Are they? We use are because the subject is they. Look, the subject is what? The subject is they, and with they you have to use are. Are they going to go? Look, to the question we have go, spend, and make. Infinitive, right? Infinitive, we don't change the verb. The verb is what? The verb is infinitive. Okay, student, the subject is yes, they are, or no, they aren't. Okay? So, exercise number 1. Let us have exercises to practice this rule. Okay? To use what? To use going to. Okay? To use what? To use going to. Put the verb in correct form in the future. Okay? Use what? Use going to. Here you have to use going to. Look here. It rain. So with it you have to use is or are or am. With it you have to use what? You have to use is, right? Is. Can you remember? With it you have to use is. It is going to. right? It is going to what? To rain. It is going to rain. Verb infinitive. It is going to rain. سوف تمطر. Okay? Verb infinitive. Okay? It is going to. We use is because the subject is what? The subject, it. Okay? And with it, you have to use is. Like number 2. I. With I, you have to use what? Is or are or am. With I. With I, you have to use am. Right? I'm going to. I'm going to wear blue shoes tonight. I'm going to wear. Verb infinitive. We don't add anything to the verb. We use verb infinitive. I'm going to wear what? A blue shoes tonight. Okay. Why do we use Because we have I, and with I you have to use right? Because the subject is I, and with I you have to use okay? I'm going to wear. Verb infinitive. Okay, student? The next one. Look here. Look, we have what? We have a question mark. Okay? So you have to start with is or are or am. Look to the subject. The subject is you. Okay? The subject, you. So with you, we use is or are or am. With you, remember that we use are. Okay? And here we have a question mark. So you have to start using what? Are. Okay? Are you? Okay? Are you going to cook? Are you going to cook dinner? Are you going to cook dinner? Are you going to cook dinner? Okay, so this is what? This is question. Yes or no question, right? So are you going to cook dinner? We use verb infinitive. Cook, verb what? Verb infinitive. Are you going to cook? Okay? We use what? We use are. Why? Because the subject is what? The subject is you, and with you, you have to use are. So here also we have a question mark. And with a question mark, you start with is or are or am. And here we have you have to use are. Are you going to cook a dinner? We use verb infinitive, okay? So the last one. They, the house. They, we used with they is or are or am. With they, look, we have they is or are or am. You have to use are, right? You have to use are. They are. And here we have not. So when to use or add not? متى بنضيف النot؟ بعد الآر, right? They are not, right, going to leave. Okay, we use leave, verb infinitive. They are not going to leave the house. They are not, okay? We use are because what? Because the subject is they, and with they you have to use are. They are, we have not. متى بنضيف النot؟ بعد الإز والآر والآم. هون بنضيفها بعد الآر. اوكي لأنه معنا are. They are not going to leave. We don't add anything to the verb leave. We use the past form, the infinitive leave. Okay? Again. They, we use are, okay, because the subject is what? The subject is they, and with they you have to use are. They are, okay? And not, we add the not after verb to be, after is, or are and am. Okay, they are not going to leave the house. Okay, and leave infinitive. So exercise number 2, circle the mistakes and correct them. What does mistakes mean? What does mistakes? Mistakes الأخطاء. Okay, so here we have what? We have mistakes. عنا جمل فيها أخطاء. You have to circle the mistake and correct them. بدنا نصححها. Okay, he is going to playing tennis. Look to the sentence. He is going to playing tennis. Look carefully to this sentence. Look, here we have is, he. And with he, you have to use is or are or am. You have to use is. This is right. Number 1, he is going. This is right. He is. We use is with he. Going to. This is right. We use going to after is. He is going to. Look, playing. Is that right? Playing. We add ing to the verb. No, this is not right. We have to use verb infinitive, right? You have to use verb infinitive. So this is the mistake, right? He is going to play. He is going to play, right? He is going to play tennis, right? He is going to play. Why? Because you have to use verb infinitive, right? You have to use verb infinitive. Okay, student? So the next one. Are she going to study tonight? Are she? Is that right? No, it is not right. Here we have she, and with she you have to use is or are or am. You have to use is, right? Not are. So where is the mistake? وين الخطأ? Are. You can't use are with she, right? Are is incorrect. Okay? So you have to use what? You have to use what? Is. Why? Because we have she. Okay, because we have what? Because we have she. And with she you have to use is, right? Is she going to study tonight? Is she going to study tonight? Right? With she you have to use is, not are. Okay, student? So the last example, I am going not to open the door. Look, I am. We use am with I. This is correct, right? This is correct. We use am with I. Okay, going not. Sorry. We have what? We have not. Why do we have not here? We use not after what? After is and are and am. Okay, so where is the mistake? The mistake is here. Okay, so we can't use not after going. You have to use not after is or are or am. نستخدم النot بعد الإز are am مش بعد الgoing to. صح؟ So this is not correct, right? So we use am. Just let me write it here. Am not going to open the door. Okay, I'm not going to open the door. Okay, I'm not going to open the door. We use what? We use I and am. Okay, I am. We use with what? With the subject I. Okay, I am or am. Not after is and are am. And here we have am. So we use not after am. I'm not going to. Going to open. Okay, open verb infinitive. We don't add s. We don't add ing. We don't add anything. We use what? Open verb infinitive, right? The door is complement and dot. Okay, so I'm not going to open the door. Okay, student. So this is our lesson for today. If you have any question, any comment, just let me know and ask me whatever you want. Okay, student? So see you next time and have a nice day. Goodbye.